Well, g'day folks, welcome to today's edition and thank you for joining me. Today it's just going to be you and I. Kat's at work and I've got the day off and I'm not going to waste it. We've got a beautiful weather today. The weather gods are smiling on us after about a week or so of miserable weather. My thoughts go out to the folks up on the north coast of New South Wales. You guys have copped a hell of a drenching and worst flooding in living memory. So thoughts out to you guys. Hope you all recover well and get back to life. So yeah, Kat's at work. I've got the day off. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to take you guys to a very special place. It's one of my most favourite hikes. The total distance is about 22, 23 kilometres, so mid to long range hike. I'm all packed up, all good to go. So sit back, enjoy. Well, what you see here, folks, is an anthill. These things are all over Australia. It's quite big, so compared to me, it's even taller than me. So yeah, pardon me, we've been getting a bit of rain lately, so the creek levels are up, and I'm saturated up to my thighs. Not ideal, but it is the nature of the beast. So yeah, this is one of my all-time favourite hikes. You know, Kat and I, since we've been together, we've done a lot of pretty amazing hikes, like Wilson's Promontory National Park, where else? Maria Island in Tasmania. And far north Queensland. So yeah, we've had some amazing hikes in our time, and we're very fortunate where we live. We're sort of surrounded by national parks and conservation areas, plenty of trails to explore, lots of wild country too. This one here, where we're going to, is a place called Marble Arch. It's a natural feature, slap bang in the middle of nowhere, right in the wilderness. So yeah, all right, let's keep going, eh? Didn't take long for the jacket to come off. I say you're in the middle of nowhere, I mean it. So we're kind of looking north this way. That's looking towards Deura National Park. Out that way is Braidwood. Out that way is Canberra. And yeah, haven't got far to our rest stop, just over the hill. Alright, let's keep going. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Big Hole. It's it's a natural formation, a big sinkhole basically. Goes down about roughly, I don't know, probably about 60 metres, 70 metres. Those fern trees, if you can see them down there, it's a bit dark. There's fern trees down there. They're roughly 2 metres tall, I believe. Around about my height, probably a bit shorter. This does not do any good for my vertigo, but it's a pretty cool formation. Alright, this is our first rest stop, and have a drink of water, and then we'll keep going. On the Big Hole, it's a bit of a descent, probably for a couple of 100 metres or so. Not too steep, but it is a little bit challenging on the old dicky knees. So a lot of people ask me, why do I hike? Why do I do this kind of thing? Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I was born and raised in the country, and I was surrounded by state forests and national parks, so you couldn't help but, you know, be in it. It wasn't until I left home I sort of got into hiking and rough camping, mainly out of a job description that I was doing, and sort of fell in love with it. And over the years I've travelled around Australia and overseas, and done some hiking trails, not big monsters or anything like that, but probably one of the better ones I've done overseas would be in northern Thailand, going up around the hill, in the northern hill tribes. That was an experience I'll never forget. Let's see, North America, there was the Mammoth Lakes National Park and Yosemite National Park. Both of them are pretty amazing destinations. But you know what? Nothing quite beats being hiking around here in Australia. I've already mentioned a few of the national parks that Kat and I have been visiting over the last 3 years. So it's for Kat and I, it's a passion. We love it, and for me, I don't know, it's more therapeutic, and I think that's the same for Kat too. Yeah, it's get away from the stresses of life, you know. And yeah, hiking with Kat is wonderful, and I'm pretty sure Kat would agree. But going in solo, it's a good therapeutic thing to do, just to reconnect yourself with the environment around you, and be appreciative of what you've got. Good opportunity too to collect your thoughts and all that sort of good stuff, you know, for the mental health. Pretty much everyone has mental health concerns in some sort of way. You know, and you've got to find a way to help cope with it. And for us, and me especially, doing this kind of thing is, you know, it's a good therapeutic thing to do. Whoops, we're almost full trip there. You gotta watch your feet around here. There's a lot of loose rocks, sticks and stuff. Another question I got asked too is, aren't you afraid of snakes? And I said, well, yes, of course. There are some deadly snakes here in Australia. A lot of them harmless. Some will just give you a nasty bite, and yeah, they are toxic, but generally it's not going to kill you. When you're doing this kind of hiking, or pretty much anywhere really, if you're going anywhere in nature especially, take a first aid kit with the correct bandaging that you need, like a snake bite kit or something like that especially. It's not too bad now with the snake threat. The seasons are changing into winter, so it's a bit cold for them, so they'll be heading into hibernation. However, that said, best thing you can do is just accept that the threat is there. Don't be absorbed by it. Never put your hands or your feet where you can't see them. So it's not too bad now. It's a bit open here, but in scrubby bush that we saw back there, you just scan the ground in front of you. Like I said to Kat, and she mentioned it before, don't look at the bush, look through it. And you're just looking for anything that moves or slithers. Be scanning the ground in front of you, scan the bush around you. Don't look at it, look through it. Looking for shapes, movement, colours, anything that's a little bit out of place. And you do it long enough, it just becomes instinctive for you. Alright, I'll shut this down and pay attention to what I'm doing. Well, here's one of those anthills I mentioned earlier. This one's only a baby one. And you see there's a whopping great big hole in it. And what caused that was echidnas. And they definitely had a feast in here. Echidnas, much like anteaters, I guess, they love their ants. They would burrow through this anthill and have an absolute feast. Alright, let's keep going. Yeah, I did mention there's been a lot of rain lately. The ground is saturated and you've got a lot of runoff going on. Thankfully, we sort of have a bridge that survived. Here we go. Here's another massive anthill. Let's go have a look at this one. Oh, this one's covered in moss. This has been here for a very, very long time. Got a few shrooms on it too. And nope, I would not be eating them. There we go. Got a bit of an idea of how big this bloody thing is. Alrighty, let's keep going. Well, we've reached roughly the halfway mark. So then again, it's often difficult to estimate how far this track really is. I don't know what's going on with national parks, but their measuring distance capabilities often left wanting. Just going back to emergency stuff when you're out hiking, especially when you're going solo. When you're in remote locations like this, you really need to know what you're doing. So you pack a first aid kit, that's all well and good, but you need to know what to do with it. So I strongly recommend you get yourself on a first aid course. Particular attention towards breaks, strains, snake bites, spider bites, how to treat them, what equipment you need. So definitely a must-have. When you're out in remote locations like this, always stick to the main track, if there is one, or at the very least have the equipment you need to navigate where you're going. You need to have a pretty good understanding where you are. So strongly recommend that you have some sort of device that can help you navigate if you're going through wilderness with no tracks. If you're out in tracks, have some sort of device where you can communicate too. Often, especially out in wilderness like this, you're not going to have a mobile phone reception. So a way around that, for the Australian viewers especially, 112 is the emergency phone number to dial if you're in a location where you've got no signal from your normal carrier. Alright, so 000 is a normal emergency number. But if you find yourself in a remote location like this, 112, dial that number. Your device will pick up whatever signal from whatever carrier is in the area, and they'll dispatch your call to the emergency services. Another good thing too, and I know it drains your battery a little bit, make sure your GPS is turned on. The emergency services call centre can then track your phone and positioning, and find out where your position exactly is. Another thing to consider also is what's called an EPIRB. It's an emergency positioning intercommunication something. It's called an EPIRB, like a personal emergency device. You press this button, it sends a signal up to a satellite. The satellite pins your position with the GPS that's built into the EPIRB and sends that signal to the emergency services. Alright, come to an interesting place here. Let's have a look around. This is the site of an old mining camp. Way back in the day, mining was pretty big in this area. They discovered gold, and so little gold mines sprung up everywhere. It's not much of the mine site now, and the shafts I assume have been dug in, but what we do have is a lot of wombat holes. Obviously the wombats are asleep now. They're nocturnal. They only come out at night time or at dusk. Sometimes you'll see them during the day, but very rarely. We were lucky down at Tasmania on Morio Island. The wombats are out all times. This is pretty much a wombat city here. There's quite a network going on. All this ground is very loose, and the reason for that is the spoil from the gold mining operation that took place here. So this would have been the mine site, and there's the remains of something over there. Look like a big boiler or something. So yeah, the mine site was abandoned a very long time ago. Alright, not far to go. Yep, bit of digging going on here. That would have been done by a wombat. Alright, let's get our feet up wet again. You can see there's a bit more digging going on over here as well. A wombats have been feasting. Well, I just ran out of battery back there. That didn't last long. So, kind of learning this GoPro thing on the fly, basically. Kat and I only sort of like took up this thing as a hobby. We're avid YouTube fans, you know. We follow or subscribe to the channels that appeal to our senses, and of course a lot of that's for driving, camping, hiking, or a combination of all three. But I bought this GoPro for Kat on her birthday. Oh no, birthday? Yeah, birthday. And because I saw how much of an interest she was taking in it. And she's of course taken to it like a duck to water. So with our video productions, she's the executive producer, executive director, editor, you name it. She's been doing a pretty good job of it. I'm just sort of like learning on the fly. So luckily I've got spare batteries. Well, I've got one more spare battery, so I brought three. One's out of juice and I'm onto this one, so I'm gonna have to sort of like be careful with how long I'm going to be filming. But we're getting there. You probably noticed that Kat's production's getting a lot more better looking. We've even got ourselves a nice little speaker here. A few other bits and pieces. I'm more focusing on my newest acquisition. I'm getting a brand new four-wheel drive soon, so that's a big announcement. Really looking forward to it. So we'll be doing a lot more filming with the four-wheel drive out at camp spots and whatnot, and generally enjoying life. Alright, I'll film a little bit more of this track we're going through because we're actually not too far from our destination once we get there. So I'll film a little bit more what we're walking through, and then I'll shut that down, and then we're going to be at the big reveal. So we're not quite at the big reveal. Not sure if you can see through the trees, but there's a big valley there, or a small valley, and it joins onto a bigger valley over there, and that goes onto the coast. All national park in every direction. The coast itself, as the crow flies, it's probably about 60 kilometres, 70 kilometres away. And we're about to go through a descent to our destination. It's an 800 metre descent, so yep, it's going to be a bit rough on the old legs, but once you see the reward, it's worth it. All right, see you down the bottom. Well, good day, folks. Welcome to Marble Arch. It's a good day for it. There's a lot more water here than the last time I was here. And that's because of the rain that's been happening, as I've explained. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. So what's happened here is over thousands and thousands of years, the water from this creek has carved a way through marble rock. So there's a tunnel that goes through to the other side. Now obviously we're going to get our feet wet again, and it's going to be a bit of a scramble, but hopefully we'll get to the other side. We'll have a look inside the cave. Hopefully I've got I've got a torch thing on top of the camera, and I've got a little torch in my pocket as well. And we'll have a look inside the cave, and then we'll move on to our final destination. Well, our halfway point, and then we have to turn around and go back. All right. I'll see you inside the cave. Here we are. Visibility's not too good with the camera, I know. Let's keep going. As you can see, it's marble, this rock. I'm not kind of sure what style or type of marble it is, but it's yeah, carved itself through here after a very, very long time. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Well, as you can see, it's way too dark in here to get a good gauge of the actual tunnel system. So I'll see you on the other side. Well, we made it through the other side of the arch. That's it there. You got a bit of a scramble through there. It's fairly low, and unfortunately, I couldn't film too much in there. It was just way too dark, even with the torch device. Yeah, you really need to keep an eye on what you're doing. Okay. Definitely getting very wet, but it's all part of the fun. So we got a little bit more to see. You thought that was cool? Wait till you see this. As far as I can go. Pretty cool little, I don't know, what do you call that waterfall? It's coming from out of the ground. Aquifer or something like that. If anyone knows what these kind of waterfalls are called, please let me know in the comments below. Well, hopefully you folks can hear me okay. Yeah, now you can see why I absolutely love coming out here. The whole system, walking through here or scrambling through here, very, very slippery. So you've got to be sure-footed. But it's a absolutely magical place. And you could not be far removed from civilization, that's for sure. It's a long way to the nearest town. Anyway, can't really stop around for too long because the days are getting shorter and I don't really want to chase the sun on the way home. So let's have a brew, something to eat, and we'll get out of here, eh?
Whew. Made it. That was a good one. All right, might have a drink of water, and we've got a hell of a climb in front of us. You know what they say, what goes down must come up, or something like that. Whew. All right, we've got a long way to go up. I'll let you know when we get back to the bloody car. We made it up the top of that bloody great big ridge. It's fairly undulating now, as you've seen on the way in, until we get towards the big hole. We've got a climb up there, about 150, 200 metres of a fairly steep climb. And then it's pretty much downhill back towards the campsite. So yeah, on the way back, and we'll wrap this up a little bit later on. Goodbye Marble Arch, thank you for having us again today. As always, it's beautiful. There's another one of those big anthills. This thing is massive. Alrighty folks, I'll let you know when we get back towards the campsite. Not sure if you can hear them, but there's black cockatoos in the area. Probably our most favourite animal. They are gorgeous. I'll keep listening out for them. Hopefully I'll catch them and you guys can hear it. Pub. Well, made it. Got myself changed into some clean clothes. I was a little bit filthy after all that, but yeah. So that's the Marble Arch walk, or the Marble Arch hike. Total distance. Let me just check with my smart watch here. Let's see. So the total distance was 12 kilometres. So I don't know where 23 kilometres came from. You've got to be careful where you get this information from. But according to my distance tracker on my smart watch thing here, yeah, 12 kilometres. So pretty impressed. I'm very happy with that. It felt a lot longer. Obviously the old body's feeling a bit sore. So yeah, it's not the kind of hike for the faint-hearted, put it that way. You'll need to have a reasonable level of fitness and some experience too. Mostly undulating, but there are some steep climbs you have to get through, especially on the way back. Down in the Marble Arch area itself, as you saw, it's very wet. It's very slippery, but the reward is far, far worth it. Anyway, thank you for watching. The State of Origin's on tonight, so go the Blues. So I'm going to have this beer and I'm going to go home and enjoy the game. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers and hooroo.